Hi, this is Carlos Cousins, and now we're going to be looking at a reading passage that asks us to come up with what we believe would be a response that an author of one passage would give to a sentence in a passage written by a different author. So let's go ahead and focus on the passage that the first author wrote, and then once we understand the way that this author is thinking, let's try to see how they would react to the sentence in the second passage. So let's go ahead and see here, what is this author talking about? So this author is posing a question. She's posing the question, why is it that our society has turned more and more to the internet for social communication? So far, this seems to be an open question. There's no really negative words here in the sentence at all, and though we could assume that she's unhappy about it, that is already an assumption, and something that we really want to try to avoid with this sort of problem is assuming anything. So right now, all we can say is this is an open question, that she's wondering something. Many of our personal interactions are virtual, and there are dozens of available formats. So here she identifies Facebook, MySpace, Messenger, AIM, and Flickr, to name a few, so she identifies that there's many more. Perhaps the anonymity of the internet lends us a degree of confidence. So this is the first answer that she tries to give to her question. Maybe being able to socialize online gives us a sense of anonymity that makes us feel confident in ourselves. Another answer that she comes up with is, or do we feel more comfortable interacting when our encounters can be fleeting and superficial? Maybe we feel more comfortable when we can be superficial, when we don't have to talk about things that are personal or that are private. So this author is posing a question, coming up with two potential responses. Maybe we feel confident when we're more anonymous, or maybe we feel more comfortable with being superficial. And then she says, in any case, blogging, gaming, and networking sites multiply. The opportunities for socializing online are constantly growing. So she's also noticing that there's an upward trend. And now let's see what that sentence in the second passage is. In a time when news sources are increasingly politically controlled, so this author is saying that our news sources are controlled by politics, micromedia sources may just be the thing to allow everyday citizens to assert control. So maybe here Vote Report is allowing the citizens to feel like they are more in control of what they think, because it provides a venue that traditional news sources don't provide. So how would the author of passage 1 react to this? Would she say Vote Report is yet another example of the influence of internet media, of the influence that the internet media has in our lives? Well, potentially. She does point out that there are other sites like Facebook, MySpace, Messenger, etc., and that she includes in that category sites that deal with blogging, gaming, and networking. So this is an example. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next answer choices and see if one of them is better, though. Programs like Vote Report, while useful, don't address the underlying problems with the internet today. Well, the author of passage 1 wasn't really talking about there being underlying problems. As I said, there's only an open-ended question here, and coming up with any assumptions from that question, like maybe she's unhappy about the fact that we like our anonymity or that we like to be superficial, she doesn't really say that she's unhappy. She's simply pointing things out. She's making observations. So we can't really assume that she sees that there's underlying problems with the way the internet is used. The next option is the internet is a good illustration of the fact that human progress always comes at a price. Again, there's no negative associations that are explicit in this passage, so that's not an answer that would be acceptable either. Vote Report may seem useful on the surface, but in reality, it will create further distance between people. Though it may create further distance, and though she may agree with that, she does not say that it would be unuseful, and this seems to suggest that it would not be. May seem useful on the surface, but, and she's making absolutely no comment as to how useful these sites are. She's simply asking why we're using them. As our dependence on the internet increases, it is possible some means of taking advantage of the technology may surface. I think she sees that we're already taking advantage of them. These sites are constantly growing, she says, so this is definitely the best answer. I hope that helped with this problem, and in general, just try to avoid assumptions with this sort of thing, and happy prepping.